and welcome everybody to our strength class. I'm your instructor Quinn today, and we're going to be going over a full body workout. We're going to need two separate pieces of equipment, a heavier set of dumbbells and a lighter set of dumbbells. If you have your mat, that's great. If not, just get a space that you can move comfortably in without knocking into anything or potentially, knocking something over. So we've got two separate circuits that we're going to run twice through, 5 exercises each circuit. We're going to be working at a work to rest ratio of 40 seconds on each exercise, 20 seconds off. But we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm-up here. So the first thing that we're going to do is get set up with our standing rotation. So we're going to stand with our feet nice and wide, torso nice and tall, and we're just going to start twisting across, swinging our arms through, getting some nice rotations through the spine, all the way down into the hip. Squashing the bug underneath the toe as we twist around, getting those arms and shoulders nice and loose, hips loosened up, back nice and loose as well. Then we're going to come back to center, bring our feet to the middle, raise our hands up above our head, grabbing one of our wrists, pulling that wrist out and away from the shoulder, pushing the hips out to the side, getting into a big side bend here, coming back into middle, and then stretching through the other side, getting that nice big stretch down into the hips, and back to middle, and we're going to go into our bird dogs next. So, getting down onto our hands and knees, we're going to place our hands directly below the shoulders, pull that belly button up into the spine, and we're going to extend out opposite hand and leg, punching the fingertips and the heel through, creating a nice connected line from heel to the fingertips. Coming back down and switching sides, extending out, punching those fingertips and that heel through, creating a nice flat line, extending all the way through, holding up at the top, and dropping back down, extending out again, one more each side, and coming back down, last one here. And dropping back down. What we have next is a set of bottle rocks. So we're going to extend one leg out to the side, directly away from the hips. We're going to open up that knee just a little bit, bringing it outside of our hip line. Then we're going to shift and rock back into the hips, getting a nice stretch through that extended leg, rocking back forward, and sinking back into the hips. And walking forward, and one more on this side, rocking back, and coming back down, switching sides, keeping that knee nice and wide, extending out the other leg, and rocking back into the hips, sinking those hips down, getting a nice stretch, coming back forward, and again, rocking back, and forward once more, and rocking back again for our last one. And forward. Good. Now we're going to lay down flat onto our stomach to work into the shoulders here. We're going to bring our hands right next to our armpits. We're going to pinch the shoulders up, bringing the chest and the feet up with us, and extend our fingertips out overhead. Holding out in front, we're going to pull our elbows back down towards the hips, keeping those hands nice and level, staying up and away from the ground, and pressing the fingertips again back forward, holding out at the top, and pulling back down, pointing those elbows down towards the hips, and one more extension out, keeping that chest up, keeping our hands up, and pulling the elbows down, pointing them to the hips, and lowering down. Coming back up, we got one more quick one that we're going to do, and it's just a quick set of arm circles. So we're going to extend our hands out to the side, so we're in a nice tall T pose. We're not keeping our hands in front. We're going all the way out to the side, pinching those shoulders back, and we're just going to go nice, quick forward circles here, controlling every little angle of that motion, getting all those little muscles warmed up and firing. Slowly opening up the circle, getting bigger and bigger. And relaxing, shaking out. And arms back out to the side. Now going backwards, pushing the fingertips away. Nice quick circles. Slowly opening up, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And shaking out. Relaxing and finishing out our warm-up. Okay, so we're gonna hop into our workout here. The first thing that we're gonna do is a set of split squats. So we're gonna have our feet spread apart, dropping that knee down, loading that front leg, keeping that weight centered over the middle of the foot. Back down and up, okay? Then we're gonna get into a set of shoulder taps. We're gonna be down on the ground, keeping our hips up high into a high plank, and we're going to be shifting back and forth, tapping opposite hand to shoulder here. Then we're going to go into a set of squats, getting our feet shoulder width apart, dropping down into a squat and back up. Then we have a kneeling shoulder press. So having our lighter dumbbells to start, maybe working into the heavier ones next, pressing up with our opposite hand as the knee that's forward. So pressing up overhead, and then we just have a 40-second plank. You don't have to do all 40 seconds, but try and finish out with your hips up into the air, okay? So we're gonna get started here in just about 15 seconds. So the first one we're doing is split squats. We're gonna grab our dumbbell weight and start in a split stance in 3, 2, and 1. Dropping down, loading that front leg, keeping that weight centered over the middle of the foot. Nice even pace. We're going to stay on one leg here. We're going to switch at 20 seconds. Just a few more. And switch. Bringing that other foot forward, dropping down into that split squat. Nice even pace. Lowering over the middle of that foot. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. 20 seconds rest here before we head into those shoulder taps. Getting ourselves into that high plank. We're going to drop down onto the floor. Extending our feet back and starting in 3, 2, 1. Tapping back and forth, getting our shoulders nice and stable as we shift from side to side here. A nice, even, controlled pace. Finding a rhythm and trying to stay even with the rhythm. Almost there. A few more. Keep it going. Keep those hips up. And 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Next up, we're going into a set of squats. So you can grab both of your dumbbells or just one of them. We're going to hold it up near our chest. If you have both, put them on either side of your shoulders. Starting our squats in 3, 2, and 1. Squatting down and back up, trying to get that weight that we're lowering nice and even between both feet. 50-50 through both feet. Keeping that chest nice and tall, belly button sucked into the spine, core and hips working together, lowering down and driving back up. Almost there. Dropping down, keeping that weight nice and center. And 3, 2, and 1. Very good. All right, next up we have our kneeling shoulder press. So we're going to get down on one knee. Weight is going to be in the opposite of that front knee. So I've got my left leg forward, getting my right hand up and pressing in 3, 2, 1. Extending up overhead, nice and steady, bringing that elbow down to a 90 degree, and then pushing up, bringing the bicep to the ear. Getting that weight straight up overhead, pushing all the way through the ceiling. And switching sides, getting that knee down, and back to pressing. Elbow to 90 degrees, bicep to ear. Nice even pace. 3, 2, 1. Very good. All right. Finishing off this round with a plank. We're going to get into our forearms down position. Getting our feet extended back and popping up in 3, 2, 1. Keeping those shoulders nice and level with the hips, belly button sucked up to spine, and driving the ground away through the shoulders. Pushing away from the floor, keeping ourselves up and locked in. Nice deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Calming down, keeping our body nice and strong. And 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Now's a great time to get some water. We got that first round done. We're going to start back up again with those split squats. So, grabbing our weight in the hand, front foot forward, and dropping down in 3, 2, 1. Lowering down onto that forward leg. Loading like a spring, keeping that weight centered over the middle of the foot. Nice, steady, slow pace. Down and back up. Last one. And switch. Driving down and through. Loading that front leg, tapping the knee gently to the floor, and exploding back up. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Next up, going into those shoulder taps. So, positioning ourselves down on the ground, getting ready to get into the high plank. And hands down, chest over the hands, feet wide, and tapping, opposite hand to shoulder. Nice even pace as we move back and forth, side to side, keeping that belly button sucked up to the spine. Core nice and active. Almost there. Keep that pace and rhythm. Feeling that shoulder strengthen through the stability. And 3, 2, 1. Very good. Next up, going into our squats. So, weight in hand or hands. Bringing the weight up to the chest. Feet about shoulder width apart. And we're dropping down in 3, 2, 1. Lowering into that squat. Nice and even through both sides. Loading both feet equally, keeping that weight centered in the middle. Chest staying up, core staying active. Pinching the shoulders back. Opening up the chest as we lower down. A few more here. Keep it going. Almost there. Last ones. And 3, 2, 1. Very good. All right, we're gonna go into that kneeling shoulder press. Getting one knee down and loading up our weight. We're gonna start pressing here in 3, 2, 1. Overhead, bicep to ear, lowering down to 90 degrees and pressing back up. Keeping that shoulder pinched back. Really important to open up our chest here as we're pressing through, so we're not loading too much weight onto the front of our shoulder, but using all of the balance we can. And switching sides. Pressing straight through, bringing that bicep to ear, pinching the shoulder back as we come up overhead. Here we go, last ones. Focus on that good form. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Okay, last one of this circuit we've got is our plank. So, getting ready onto our mat. We're getting our forearms down to the ground and extending the feet back in 3, 2, 1. Feet are back, knees up, pressing the ground away. Hips nice and level with the shoulders. Belly button sucked up to spine. And we're breathing deep. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Holding ourselves up. Just a few more deep breaths, almost there. And 3, 2, 1. Very good. Halfway there. Got one more circuit through. We're going to do our knee tucks, eccentric push-ups, lateral squats, RDLs, and shoulder flies. So the knee tucks, the first thing we're going to do is lay down onto our back, bringing our knees up into the air and our feet at 90 degrees. We're going to smash our lower back into the ground and extend our heels out. Starting now, timer is on for those knee tucks. So extending those legs out and back in. You want to work within your range. So you're going to know where your range is by the way your lower body and your lower back reacts to extending out the legs. If you start to shake and feel that back pull up off the ground, then keep your range a little shorter. Almost there. Tucking those knees to chest, pulling that lower back into the ground. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Next up, we're going into our eccentric push-ups, and these can be done with either legs fully extended back or with the knees down, modified for a little bit less loading, which I really like so I can focus on my form. But for these push-ups, we're going to go nice and slow down. So we're going to be up here in our position, and we're lowering down nice and slow to the floor. And then once we get to the floor, holding at the bottom and exploding through. So again, lowering down. 3, 2, 1. Gentle hold at the bottom and explode through again. Couple more. Lowering down. 1, 2, 3. Holding at the bottom and exploding up again. Last one. Lowering down. Holding at the bottom and exploding through. Very good. Next up, we're going to do our lateral squats. So let's get a weight in hand. You can do these with body weight too. They work really, really well body weight, but if you want to add a little bit of extra challenge, bring a weight in hand and bring it up in front of your chest. We're going to get our feet nice and wide, and we're lowering down onto one leg, shifting to the side and back up. Moving to the other side and driving through. Getting our legs really spread here. We want to try and keep this leg that's getting extended out as straight as we can. If you're noticing that you have to bend it, then you have to sit back into the hips a little bit more, and you should feel a stretch on the inside of the leg as you're shifting from side to side here. Last ones. And done. Very good. Next up, we have our RDLs. So we're going to take both of our heavier dumbbells. We're going to stand with the weights in front of our hips and pinch our shoulders back. So chest nice and proud, core active. And we're going to keep our legs straight as we drop our chest down, pinching our shins back, or our shoulders back, and driving through. So we're lowering down, letting our back stay completely straight, legs stay completely straight, and we're just pushing our hips back behind us and pulling back through. Letting that weight fall forward and drive through the hips. You should feel a good stretch through the back side of the leg and then pulling through as you drive those hips back. Last one. And done. Okay, next up we have our single leg shoulder fly. So we're going to be using one foot to balance here. Now you can either bring one foot up or have one foot back to serve as a kickstand with the toe pointed down. And then from here, we're just going to bring the weight out to the side. So rising up, controlling that weight back down as we lower again, coming up and out to the side, getting a nice fly pattern, only balancing on one leg here. Nice even pace. And switching legs, keeping those arms moving. Almost there. Starting to feel the shoulders burn a little bit. And time. Very good. So that's our first run through. We're going back into those knee tucks, laying down onto our back, starting with our legs extended and bringing the knees up, smashing that lower back into the ground, and 3, 2, 1, extending the heels out, smashing that back, staying within a comfortable range for our backs and our hip to work together, and pulling back up to the chest. Getting slow, steady extension so we can really give our core a chance to activate. Slowly lowering those heels down, getting a light tap if we can, without letting our back smash off the ground. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Next up, we're flipping over. We've got those eccentric push-ups. So starting with our hands directly below the shoulders. And when we're lowering down, we want those elbows to point 45 degrees off the hips. So starting in 3, 2, 1. Lowering the chest down nice and slow. Gently loading the chest and the elbows and driving through. Using our arms to spring off of the ground. Loading those muscles nice and slowly. Giving them a chance to build all of that force to drive us back up off the ground. Last one. And done. All right. Next up, we're going into those lateral squats. So grabbing a weight and bringing it up to chest, or doing body weight, getting our feet nice and wide, making sure we have room to move through our hips, and squatting down in 3, 2, 1. Lowering ourselves onto one leg, keeping that other leg straight. Getting as low as feels comfortable. We just want to move within comfort here. Opening up the hips, loading up the leg, moving without pain or discomfort, And we really want to get those feet wide. Driving through, back and forth, nice and balanced. Focusing on loading the legs from side to side. Last ones. And done. Very good. Grabbing our other weight. We're going to go into those RDLs. We got our last two exercises. We want to make sure that we're finishing strong. Keeping those shoulders pinched back, chest nice and supported from the torso. We're going to bring the weights in front of the hips and lower down, pushing those hips back, getting the chest flat and parallel with the ground before pulling up and through. It's okay if you let the knees bend slightly, but we really are focusing on how our hips are moving through here, loading evenly through the hips and pulling through the backside of the legs as we come up, contracting those leg muscles. Couple more. Last 3, 2, and 1. All right. Last exercise we got is going to be the single leg shoulder fly. Okay, so getting that leg ready, lighter weights in hand, and we are pressing out to the side, flying those shoulders up and lowering them back down, making sure that we're controlling both directions of the movement here, up and down, not just letting the weight fall back down to our hips. Pinching those shoulders back, chest still nice and proud. Making sure that our hands are coming out true to the side. Go ahead and switch feet. Nice, even pace. Bringing those hands up and controlling the weight back down. Last ones. 3, 2, 1. And done. Very, very good. Everybody, absolutely great job. Thank you so much for spending the time to watch this video and get some movement in. Again, my name is Quinn Gabler. I'm the program coordinator here at Dolby. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Fitness related, exercise, routine related, anything you can do for the discomfort or goals that you have for yourself, please let me know. Thank you.